Hey everyone, welcome to my live stream today. I'm glad to see you. Alrighty, let's get started. Because today we are talking about the 5 steps toward long-term healing after family betrayal, or the family betrayal that often comes as a result of a parent having an affair. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So glad to see you. Let me see. I'm going to be looking at my notes a little bit so that I make sure I say everything I want to say. So let's start with what are those 5 steps? And then we're going to talk a little bit about what long-term healing means. So the 5 steps, and these are the 5 steps that I used, incidentally, to get to long-term healing. So personal experience here. So number 1 is deciding what level of contact you would like with your family. Number 2 is setting and holding boundaries. Number 3 is having hard conversations. Excuse me. Number 3 is having hard conversations with your family. Number 4 is grieving reality. And number 5 is finding your chosen family to support you the way you need to be supported. So that's where we're at. Again, my name, for those of you who are new here, my name is Melissa. I help adult children heal from the fallout from a parent's infidelity and help them rebuild a better relationship with their family, a healthy relationship with their family. So that's why I'm here. If you're here live, please just give me a like in the chat. And if you're here for the replay, please hit replay in the comments so that I know that you're here. So thank you for that. And finally, if you know somebody who needs this video, please forward it to them. If you're here, you probably know that not enough people, well, in my opinion, not enough people are talking about the effects of a parent's infidelity on the kids of any age. And I'd really like to change that. So please forward this. Okay, so let's dive in. Number 1. Well, actually, no, let's start with what long-term healing looks like, because I want you to know where you can possibly get to. And again, this is based on my experience. These were my goals when I was looking at how do I want to heal from this. So the first one is I don't want to carry any more grief or anger about the affair. I don't want to be afraid to talk about the affair with anybody. I want to have a relationship with my family that feels good to me. I want to look forward to the holidays with my family. That was big for me. I want to be able to prioritize relationships that nourish me and where there is deep trust and reciprocity without any guilt. And I want to use my time and my headspace for my dreams and goals and desires and for those working towards those goals with me. Now, I can't say that I would have been able to articulate all of these goals at the beginning when I started my healing process, but as I now look back, those were the things that I wanted. I wanted a relationship with my family that felt good to me, and I wanted to release this weight of carrying around the information about the affair. So, all right, let's dive in. So the first step is deciding what level of contact works for you. Sorry, I see somebody. Okay. Deciding what level of contact works for you. And this is super important because oftentimes when people come to me, they're so overwhelmed by the betrayal, by the knowledge, by the secrets. And that makes them constantly overwhelmed by their interactions with their family. And they can't get any traction on healing because they're constantly sort of bombarded with the relationship with their family, which can be really hard. So know that when you first start to decide what level of contact is for you, you don't have to make the decision like forever. Just make a time-limited decision to give yourself some space. I forgot to say, I'm going to give you one actionable step for each of the 5 steps toward healing as well that you can start today. So for this step, 1 is believing that you don't have to make the decision forever. You can just start with what feels good to you and renegotiate later if this level of contact is not working for you. So how do you decide what level of contact is right for you? Because most people who contact me have parents who are trying to push them or family who are trying to push them in one direction or the other. And it's very hard to get bearings on what's actually the right level of contact, right? So my step for you is use your body as a barometer for what the right level of contact is. So here's an example. Let's say that your mom is calling and you see her call on your phone and your stomach twists, you get knots in your stomach. That might be an indication that speaking with your mom on the phone is not right for you, at least right now. So maybe consider texting her only. That's one example. Another might be that every time, let's say your dad and his new wife, who's the affair partner, want you to come over for dinner or for lunch, and every time you go to their house, you get a headache. That might be an indication that going to their house is not good for you right now. So maybe you want to negotiate having lunch at a neutral location, like a restaurant, or maybe you only want to speak with your dad right now, not the affair partner. So again, think about using your body as a way to, as a barometer for what your boundaries could be. I'm sorry, what your level of contact could be. So if you're comfortable, I would love to know either in the chats or the comments, what level of contact is feeling good to you right now? Like, are you at a texting level with your family? Are you in their home already still and trying to negotiate like how much time you spend in the same room with them? I'd really be interested to know where you're at on what level of contact that you are hoping for. So thank you for that. Okay, step 2 is communicating and holding your boundaries. So obviously, if you start to make some decisions about a level of contact with your family, most likely you're going to have to set some boundaries around what those are. And most likely your family isn't going to like it. So that's where it gets hard, right? Is setting and holding those boundaries. But let's say you've decided what your boundaries are and you need to start communicating them to your family. So clarity and compassion. Those are the two sort of words to live by without over-explaining, without trying to justify. And I'm actually going to give you a formula for how to state what your boundaries are. And it's your needs, a brief explanation, and an expectation. Okay, so here's an example of how this would go. So your need might be, Mom, I need 1 month of no phone calls, texting only. Your explanation may be, so I can have some time to process the affair. And your expectation would be, once that month is over, I will check in with you and let you know how it's going. And that follow-up is actually really important for a couple of reasons. Because one, if you're interested in maintaining or rebuilding a trusting relationship with your family, that is you starting to build trust with them by saying, this is what I'm going to do, and then you do it. So you set yourself a reminder for a month from now. It doesn't mean that you then have to start talking to your family again. It just means that you will check in with them and let them know how it's going. And I find in real time that helps calm people down to know the expectation. So maybe you'll get a little bit less pushback from your family. I realize also in real life, it's rarely that easy, right? That you just say it and they say, fine, great, and then you move on. So I get that. If when your family starts to push back, my suggestion is that you don't try to justify or over-explain. You try to make it more about you than about them. And I'm going to give you a couple of phrases that you can use that helped me quite a bit. Things like, this is what I need right now. I know this hurts you, but this is what works best for me right now so that I can heal. I know this may not be enough for you, but it's what I need. It's what I can do right now. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm just asking you to respect my needs. I'm still figuring out what healing looks like for me, and I need you to be patient. So those are some of the phrases that I used along the way that I found to be very helpful. And I'd love to know, do any of these like resonate with you? Do any of them sound like phrases that you could use that you think might help you feel more comfortable? I'd really love to know which phrases sound good to you. So drop that in the comments below. Awesome. Okay, moving on to hard conversations, because here's what happens. So you decide what level of contact you need for some healing, you set your boundaries, you get yourself some space, and then I can hear people saying, but I'm still so angry, or I still want the truth, or I still want an apology. And sometimes it's not until you get some of that space that you start to recognize what you do need from your family, which is good, because that's how you start to rebuild a relationship with them. So in thinking about the conversation that you do want to have with your parents or your family, the step that you need to take to get these hard conversations going in a way that will work best for you is, what do you want out of the conversation? So maybe you are looking for an apology about the affair, or maybe you're looking for your cheating parent to really take ownership for their behavior. Maybe you're looking for a recognition of your pain, a recognition that this affair didn't just affect your parents, it also affected you. Maybe you want a chance to get really angry with both of them about what happened. Or maybe you're trying to get some understanding about how this could happen in your family or your community. All of those are very common, very understandable questions that adult children have when a parent has an affair. So are there others? I'd be curious to know if there are other questions, like other things you're really dying to know from your family or your parents after an affair. I would love to know what those are. Those four are the ones I hear most often. So yeah, I'd be really curious. So you've got all these questions, or you've got in your head the reasons that you would like to talk to your family. So that's how you start. And I'm gonna just add a little personal story here that for me personally, these hard conversations were a very important part of my healing. And I say that because they're hard to have. Like, they're really hard, and they take time, and it doesn't happen all at once. And that can be it can sometimes really feel like you're plodding along and you're not getting anywhere. And if you're in that space, I feel you. I really do. Drop me a heart, because I feel you. And for me, it was so important to just try everything I could, to try every possible conversation, every possible question. I had to do it, I tried in person, I tried over the phone, I tried letter writing. Sometimes that works too. So sometimes you just need a different venue. I tried both parents together, I tried parents separately. And for me, it was really super important to just keep trying until I finally hit the understanding that I'd tried as hard as I could, and that I had asked every question I wanted to ask, and I had gotten as angry as I needed to get. And that's going to vary for everybody, right? For some people, it'll take one conversation or two, or maybe zero. But for some people, it may take, a couple dozen. I mean, I don't remember. I'm trying to think if I could count how many different times I tried, but it's probably 10 or 12 by the time I was all done. Anyway, so just to say that it could take some time, and don't, and listen to yourself. Use your body as a barometer for how many times you want to try having these kinds of hard conversations. And I say all that because so often, and this is what I hear from so many adult children who contact me, is that you don't get from your parents the response that you would hope for, that you don't ever get an apology, or you don't ever get true ownership, or You get angry and you sort of get brushed aside, or you get hung up on. I mean, there's lots of options. Or your parents seem to act like a like a wall, right? Like they just don't hear you. And all of those things happen. And step 4 is grieving that happens. Like, and this was the hardest part for me, because, when you have a conversation, you so want to be able to like get the response. Like you think you're giving it all and you're being honest, you're being upfront, and then you don't get the response that you want. And it feels like if you just do the right thing, you're going to get there. And sooner or later, you may have to realize that you won't, that you may never get that response. You may never get an apology. That's really, really hard. That's really hard. But I will tell you that this step, if there's any step that is super important in getting to that long-term healing, this is it. Because you have to, the step here is to recognize that you can't control the outcome of the conversation, and that you may never have the apology or the validation that you want. And that's really sad. And that's really hard. And you have to grieve it. You have to let yourself be sad about that, because it is really, really sad. And you have to let go of trying to control an outcome that you can't control. So that's really hard. And if you're there, if you're trying to figure out how to grieve all this, I hear you. And I'm sorry, because you're in what I think was the hardest part. So if you're there, drop me a heart to let me know that you're there, and I'll be thinking of you. The good news is you don't stay there forever. Because grief does not last forever. There are steps that you can go through. And there is light on the other side. There really is. Because when you decide what level of contact you want to have with your family, and you set those boundaries, and you have the hard conversations until you know that it's time to stop, and you've grieved the fact that maybe your family is never going to be exactly what you want them to be, the next step to true healing is to find your chosen family. And that's where it starts to get like fun and really good. Because your chosen family, they're the people that you can be your authentic selves with, that will listen to your pain and have those hard conversations with you, and where you can really receive the nourishment that you need. So get excited about that, because that's really good. So how do you get there? Or how do you, if you are coming out of that grieving and you're starting to wonder, like, how do I build a chosen family? So the first step, I think, is a bit counterintuitive. It's not, making a list of what you want in a chosen family. It's actually, the first step is to examining your beliefs about what family is. Because there are a lot of messages out there about what a family is, right? Like there are a lot of messages, and people get them from their own family, and you also sort of absorb it from whatever culture is around you. And there are these messages. So here's some that I myself had to work through. Things like blood is thicker than water. Things like no one will take care of you like your family will. Things like family first. And it's not that any of those beliefs are wrong. It's just that they're beliefs. Like, that's all they are. They're beliefs. And you need to decide for yourself if you believe that those things are true, or whatever messages that you get from your family. You need to decide if they're true for you. I had all of these beliefs. Truly, I was scared that no one would ever love me like my family would. No one would ever take care of me like my blood family would. That I would never be able to find anybody else. And then you have to work through those and start to wonder if that's actually true. So would love to know, am I the only one? Like, what beliefs do you all have about family, and what are some of the phrases that you have gotten either from your family or from your culture, your community, about what your family gives to you, or what your family the difference between, say, family relationships and friend relationships. So I would really love to know. Let me just look here. Yeah, I had all those beliefs. I was scared that no one would ever love me that way. You can't, but here's the thing, you can't find your chosen family until you believe that they're there, until you believe that it is possible to have that level of support and nourishment and love, and to be able to be your authentic self with other people who will still stand by you. You can't find those people until you believe that it's possible and that you deserve it. So that's why questioning your beliefs is the first step. Okay, that's all 5. Where are we at? 20 minutes. Okay, we're doing pretty well. So thank you all for joining me today. I was so glad to see you. And if you're watching the replay, I'm glad that you're here too. So I guess just to close, I would say if any of this resonated with you and you're looking for additional assistance, I'd love to invite you to book a free consultation call with me. I'd love to hear your story and what help you're looking for, and if possibly my group would be of help to you. So anyway, I hope that you have a great day, a great weekend, and I'm thinking of you all because I know what a hard road this can be. So cheers. And I realized I didn't say how to get in touch with me for a free consultation. I will leave the link in the description box below. All right, thank you. Have a great day.